So I recently saw you speak at the Advanced Profitability Innovation Conference, which was in Phoenix. And during your presentation, you spoke about the importance of really understanding what business you are in as a basis for filtering new ideas and processes. And I really liked the story you told about Hertz's answer to this question. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. One of my friends, Tom Winninger, who is also a consultant, did a project for Hertz, and he went up and asked them, what business are you in? And they came back and said, well, we're in the car rental business. And he basically said, no, if you're in the car rental business, then that's the same business Avis and all of these other companies are in, and therefore the only thing you can do is compete on price. That if you really want to gain market share, if you want to do something that's significant, you've got to be in a different business. Well, this really kind of concerned the executives, and it took a couple days of hard work and gnashing of teeth and kicking of legs, but they finally came up with the idea that instead of being in the car rental business, they would be in the get out of the airport fast business. Now, this was a major revolution for them. It changed their whole outlook. And by the way, every company that's listening, you should ask yourself this same question. What business should I be in? Because once you have a filter, all new ideas go through that filter, and if they don't support it, you can put them aside on an idea parking lot and save them for another time, or you can change the filter by changing the business you're in. But normally, once you know what your focus is, new ideas that come in that don't support the focus, don't spend your time on them. Put them aside, leave them for somebody else, or leave them for another business. Well, once Hertz decided they wanted to help get people out of the airport fast, they started the Hertz #1 Gold Club. Now, I happen to be a member of that, and I'm not advertising for Hertz, please, but what it did is it allowed me, instead of standing in line and waiting for anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half, to have a multi-part contract printed for me while they entered all my information, I had everything entered in advance. Now, for those people who are used to going up to the counter and have already been doing this their whole lives, let me tell you, it used to be a real pain in the back end to rent a car. People were willing to spend money to be members of the Hertz Club, because when you arrived at the airport, you immediately went to where the cars were located. Your name was up on the board. They were watching the flights that were arriving. You went right to your car because it gave you the parking spot. The trunk was open for your suitcase. The key was in the ignition, and the contract was hanging from the mirror. Nothing could be easier. They got me out of the airport fast, and that got them so much market share that now you see everybody else has their Emerald Isle or their Quick Break or whatever they call it, because they've had to duplicate what Hertz was doing because they won. They found the secret. They found out what the customer wants. Now, there's another thing that I can suggest. There is an article that was written back in the 60s called Marketing Myopia. It was published in the Harvard Business Review, and it's a great article if you've never read it. And it actually established this principle early on. It said if the railroads had been in the transportation business instead of the railroad business, they would have owned the airlines. And imagine what that would have meant to this country if we had had good high-speed rail transportation between close cities and then the long-distance air transportation between distant ones, how much different things would look today. And the same is true for every distributor. Step back, look at your customers, know who they are, know what's important to them, and then ask yourself, what business should we be in that will help us get more customers and make more money?
Part of that question, what business are you in, is related to how distributors approach business in a fast-changing world. I guess, how can thinking about what business they are in really help distributors survive today?
Well, one of the things you have to understand is that we have companies like Amazon that are completely eliminating geography and brand recognition from the equation. So people who are buying commodity parts and are willing to pay less, have less service, but get the cheapest price possible, they can go almost anywhere. Plus, a lot of distributors are now selling on Amazon, which I think is dangerous because Amazon becomes the brand instead of the distributor. I think distributors have to look at the world and have to ask themselves the question, what is going to keep me in business? Because if all you do is buy a product and handle the paperwork to get it to the end user, they're going to find a way to disintermediate you. Basically, that means get rid of you as a distributor. So distributors have to add value. And we've been talking about value added for years, but I think a lot of people have still missed the boat and haven't taken advantage of it. So what is the value you offer? Is it because you supply MRO to a lot of plants? You're a 24/7 operation, so you can help anybody get what they need whenever they need it? Do you do vending machines in plant locations so people can serve themselves 24/7? Do you have engineering support on staff that helps people use whatever products you sell? Do you provide remote maintenance if you're selling any kind of hardware? What are the things that you do that make you the best distributor for somebody to buy from? Focus on that. Make that your business, because staying in business just to buy parts from a company and sell them to somebody else without adding any value, it's going to be taken away by all of the online merchants. Now, you can decide to become one of those online merchants, and that can be a good business and a good focus. But that's what you have to focus on then. That's what you have to do better than anybody else if you're going to be successful at it.